Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Meta Cafe. Grab your cup of coffee and join Jason and I for your daily astrology, human design, and tarot energy report. So it must be a dragging kind of morning for you, right, Jason?
Look, it's gloomy and overcast and cold and poo-poo caca.
Welcome to the Pacific Northwest.
Well, you certainly brighten things up out there. You look lovely this morning.
Thank you very much.
I didn't get the chance to talk to you, but I had a pisser on the show last night. Interesting dude. I hope everybody starts to listen in when he does do his edition of the Chiropractic Corner. Thank you for being there. I'm sorry we didn't get to the astrological scenario, but trust me, I'm going to bring that up in the next time we have him on. It's just that there was so much material to get through, as you know.
Yeah. I hope next time he's not on the road, because that's a horrible sound, listening to the traffic in the background or the sound of, poor guy.
I told him so. People, whatever. I don't want to make any judgment calls on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously he had things to do, so it was nice that he took the time to join you and to share the information he was sharing. And he seems like a very interesting person, and so I look forward to hearing more about what he has to say.
He's not just in the medical arts; he's a healer.
Yes, exactly.
And that's such a big difference, from people who are well-intended but really have no feel for it. Anyway, when you were listening to it, I didn't ask. I mean, have you ever been to a chiropractor?
Oh yeah, many times.
It's incredible.
I have a favorite chiropractor.
Well, good morning, everyone. Who's good morning us right now on the screen?
I just good morninged everybody.
Oh, sorry.
As I start to see people come in, I just typed up good morning, and then I'll bring up their comments as they say them.
Hey,
Are you a little slow?
Are we promoting yet?
We can if we want to.
Let's do it. Hit it.
Oh, hold on. I just hit a button that was the wrong button. Good morning to you, Katie. Katie's a new listener, I think, because I'm not as familiar with her as the others that I see out there, but I welcome you, and I love your comments.
Picture. She is fierce.
Fierce. We like that. So what Jason is alluding to is that we are preparing. Good morning, Natasha. We are preparing for our eventual course that we are preparing for understanding the symbolism and the
easy for you to say.
I think I've been drinking too much coffee or something this morning. Understanding the symbolism between astrology and tarot and numerology. So we're putting together a course, and we're actually going to do a sampling of that on Halloween did we decide a time, Jason? For some reason I have 3 o'clock Pacific time in my head, 6 p.m. your time. And
that was the deal.
I believe that was the time where we're going to look at the number 13 card. Can anybody guess what the number 13 card is?
My birthday. No.
It is your birthday. It's my husband's birthday too. Both of you are on the 13th.
Oh, so how nice.
Just not the same month.
I believe that's pronounced Sadie with a soft C. Look at how nice what she wrote.
Yes, she's awesome. So anyway, the death card is number 13, and it seems appropriate for Halloweeny that we talk about death, and we talk about the symbology of the number 13 and the astrology of the death card, which is pretty much Scorpio's rulers, which are Pluto and Mars. So we are going to kind of weave together the mythology, the symbology of the planets and the cards and the numbers. Should be kind of fun. And that's in preparation. Like we said, this is a freebie. Join us. We'll have the Be Live link up, so you'll be able to join us live, which means it also just records. And if excuse me, if you can't join us live, you'll be able to catch the replay or catch the download. So we're excited about that, because this is the kickoff to a much longer class.
Yeah.
Well, longer, maybe in 6 to 8 weeks of going deeper into the major arcana cards and configuring the astrology and the numerology with it. And it's one of our favorite things to do. Jason and I both love mythology, and we're both very much into the symbols of both the cards and astrology and numbers and things like that.
Like, I've often thought that if, like, you and I were kids growing up, like, you and I wouldn't have been doing Dungeons and Dragons. Fuck that. We would have been like all about doing the Greek and the Norse mythology and all of that. And to add to that, I might say, I think since the beginning of time, modern time, metaphysicians have been trying to make some sense of the great information that the initiates gave us, that has been passed down and have been secretized and have been manipulated. And what did you just say?
Suddenly you became giant and I became, I don't know what I did. Oh, I zoomed us in 150%. Woohoo! I mean, like, you got giant, like, right up in my face.
Well, you had to see the blooper. If we do a blooper, you have to see your eyes. Your eyes went, what?
Like, you came into crystal clear focus.
How's my skin? Is it lovely? Is it lovely?
Yeah, lovely, lovely. Okay, so I'm sorry to have created
shit all over my moment.
Sorry.
I was making a profound, deep, metaphysical. Anyway, large and the short of it, folks, is that people have been trying to put shit together for the longest time because the information that has been given to us with any of the divination arts is archaic. And it's been handed down, some of it in secrecy, some of it from gypsies, some of it from Egyptians, some of it from, I can keep going. But what's fascinating is that when the initiates handed down this information, there are universalities to them.
Yes.
So,
and what's interesting is you see those universalities throughout all the different types of tarot cards. I mean, they may use something a little bit different, or it's painted differently, but the symbols are very similar.
Or the progression of a symbol.
Yes.
Going from a wand into a sword or anything.
Yeah.
So that's we're excited about that because it's something that stokes us. And we're looking for that Halloween moment, and it'll be fun.
Halloweeny, Tuesday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. East Coast time on Be Live. It'll broadcast on the Living Astrology page, just as where you are this morning, and we'll be reminding people of this throughout the week. And
so our teaser. This is
the rest of the week. We'll be out tomorrow, Friday. Jesus.
If you like what you see, kind of a thing, sign up for the course because we're going to have a pisser, and it'll be live. You'll be able to interact with us and be able to see you and point and laugh.
Yeah. Only Jason does that. I don't do things like that.
No, I don't. Yeah, no, she doesn't.
That's Jason's thing. He likes to do that. So Jason, here we have this morning the moon still in your favorite sign of Capricorn.
Yay!
Woo-hoo! It's actually a little past the moon this morning. I mean, the moon is a little past. So I woke up this morning with a sore throat, and I never get sick, right? So thus I have this scarf on, trying to keep my neck warm, trying to keep myself, in a healthy way this morning. Either that or I slept with my mouth open all night.
Do you have the post-nasal snot? Is that what you're saying?
No, I just feel like my throat is raw. Like maybe I slept with my mouth open or something. So
you little mouth
time to get some ginger tea and some lemon, and but I had to have my coffee first.
I didn't know you were a mouth breather, but you better get it together, lady. Your show's tonight, and your show is on. No.
Tonight, my show is on fear, and we're going to be delving into. I thought what I would start doing, and this is kind of just it happened this morning. I thought I would start going through each of the energy centers of the human design template. And the energy center that we most closely associate with fear is the spleen. And I want to do this because we are in the last week. Today begins the last week, at least for 2017, of the sun's transits through the spleen and all of the fear gates. So it's interesting because the last fear gate is about purposelessness, right? We've talked a little bit about this in our coachings this week. And in general, we were talking about the fact that sometimes in fear, people lose what is important in life, right? We lose the meaning behind everything. And so the gate 28, which is the gate the sun is at as of this morning, teaches us about becoming total, right? Becoming immortal. Actually, we are immortal. And I think that's the thing that we come to and that we realize is as we move forward in our existence, we realize that we're so much more than just this meat suit that we're wearing over something that we can't quite put our finger on, but that we call soul.
You said meat suit. What is wrong with you?
What do you mean? It is a meat suit, right? This is flesh and blood, meat.
It sounds like something I would say. Not you would say something like a vessel, a vehicle, or something. Meat suit. Okay.
I have my moments too.
You certainly do. What's funny, I was cutting the cards while you were talking about it, and look at the card, fear and worry.
Oh, interesting.
I saw it just as I was, playing on the cards. But
anyway, show it back again. What card is that? The disc, swords, what is it?
5 of discs coming at you. Look at that. Yeah. It's misery, fear.
You know what's interesting is right in that card is the symbol for Capricorn, the goat, right? The turned upside down pentacle, yep. Which is an interesting thought because the moon, of course, is still in Capricorn, and it's entering into the area of Capricorn where it's conjunct the planet Pluto, which is about transformation. And essentially, when we are dealing with death, we're dealing with transformation. When we're dealing with fear, we're talking about diving into that underworld of hell, if you will, and coming back with something brilliant, something transformative that changes the landscape of our lives. So if we can live without letting our minds dictate to us about what's going on, then we find ourselves able to live in this present moment. And that's the whole idea about letting fear move away from because it's a mind construct. It's not the truth, unless, of course, there's a saber-toothed tiger chasing you, at which point in time you would do what you've been evolved to do, which is to run. Right? But since there aren't any saber-toothed tigers around, it's the same thing, really. We have very few fears that are actual fears right now. For example, if you walk into a store and you see a man carrying a gun, that's a real fear. That's a visceral, my life might be in danger kind of fear. Other people's lives might be in danger. That's a fear. That's an actual fear that we've evolved to deal with. But these other fears, like the idea of struggle or purposelessness, that kind of a fear is a false evidence appearing real. So tonight we're going to delve into all of those fears on the spleen during my show. And I'm going to encourage everybody to get out of the spleen. Get out of the spleen and into your heart or into your emotional body, because there is where juicier energies lie that take us into the height of who we're meant to be and not down into that fear. The fear is evolved. There's nothing you need to do about fear, right? It's there. It's those false fears that we must let go of and transcend and move forward through. So now, last thing about the moon today in Capricorn is that it's a wonderful day to complete tasks, to get the nuts and bolts of things together, because that's, Capricorn's forte, right? Very much an earth sign, very much able to see things from A to B to C and get them done. So I would use today's energy wisely, because tomorrow the moon goes into Aquarius and then all hell breaks loose, right? Tomorrow's a day of freedom. We may not feel like doing anything, but today we have the nuts and bolts of the moon behind us.
I used that energy yesterday like gangbusters, and I'm using it today again. I got up early. I've got a lot of stuff done. Yesterday I organized and went through and edited. I just crazy.
It was a good day for that.
Yeah,
I got tied up in a whole bunch of stuff yesterday that I got done, though. That was what felt really good, is that by the end of the day, I felt like I had accomplished something. So busy days, busy day today.
So tonight is going to be you're going to be discussing more of the human design aspect this evening, or okay, great. Beautiful.
Yeah. Tonight's pretty much human design based. So if you're going to watch the show, be paying attention to the Living Astrology page, because I will be posting a picture of the spleen energy, or of the spleen with the different gates on it. And if you have your own human design chart, have it in front of you during the show so that you can,
or send it to Janet via email, or give her your information, because it's incredible. I tell you, if you do that, it'll probably be relevant to
yes.
the show. So that always kind of works out that way.
Yeah. So anyway, it'll be a great show and informative, and maybe a little bit scary at first for some people, because looking at fears, looking it straight in the eye sometimes is scarier than ignoring it. So I'm going to invite everybody to draw it in and look at it for what it's really talking about for you, and then choose what you do with it from there. So that's what today's show is going to be about. So is that 5, that card that you drew, is that our card? Ooh.
Say again.
The card that you just drew, was that our card for the day?
That's the card of worrying about shit.
Is that our card for today?
Capricorn up there in the pentacle. That absolutely. I wasn't planning on it, but I said, I was cutting the cards and they came up. That is the card that says, if you get bogged down, you will hurt yourself.
Yes, indeed.
It's a mental torture.
But it is an interesting sign for some people, because it's one of the cardinal. Is it one of the cardinal signs?
Yes.
No, it is one of the cardinal signs. It's a cardinal point, meaning it. No. Yes, it does. It anchors the season, so it's a cardinal sign.
Yes.
So it does allow us access to the energy of beginning something that's more pragmatic, maybe. I hate that word, but I'm Gemini, so no wonder I hate that word.
One of the things that I always associate, A, with this card, B, with Capricorn, is when we discuss the 4 winds, this wind, this north wind of the Capricorn, you see, you start out in Aries and you go all the way around, and it's, Taurus, and it's warm and everything is fertile and everything is wonderful. And then you're in Cancer, and then you're making babies in Leo, and you're going through, and all of a sudden, winter hits. It's the great constrictor. Everything that is open and languid must now constrict, compress, become focused. That's coalesce, coagula, from the death card, the devil card, not the death card. However, when I think of that, it is because of the sign of Capricorn that allows great concentration. And that card can show concentration gone awry.
Uber focus, where you can't see anything out here. I get that. I can see how that can happen for some people, because when the moon is coming through Capricorn, remember the moon's natural realm is Cancer, which is the opposite sign of Capricorn. So you're putting an emotional feminine planet with a lot of feely, touchy, feel good stuff into a sign that's pretty much cold and dry, if you will. And it doesn't necessarily feel good there. So we might be up against, expressing, like you were having an issue this week with emotion yourself, right? And maybe even feeling to the point like, where's this emotion coming from? I'm not used to being this way, because you're a Capricorn. It doesn't, that touchy-feely emotional stuff interferes with your Capricorn self. So we have the moon interfering for us a little bit this week in terms of
point out that the last quadrant, I don't know whether you refer to it this way, I have always referred to as the quadrant of ascension. And Capricorn begins right after Scorpio. Right after who's a watch? Sag. It really begins this idea that from this Capricornian energy, you begin to heal. What do I mean by this? We live here in the Northeast. I live in one of the healthiest places in the world. Why do I say that? We have 4 seasons.
Yep.
In the wintertime, in my time, over 20 different viruses die. Microbes are deleted. There is a killing off of unnecessary. There is a focusing and getting rid of and purifying during the constriction period, so that when it does come alive again in the spring, it is anew, it is fresh. So there has to be this contraction, expansion, the same thing that is mirrored in art. Tension, release. Tension, release. Any great piece of art has it. Any great song has it harmonically. So, I digress.
That's great. But it makes perfect sense. I mean, Capricorn is the realm of Saturn. It is the natural ruler of Saturn is the natural ruler of Capricorn. And Saturn really likes structure and form and focus and concentrated energy and walls, right? Walls. And because walls support structure.
I had a yogi master once say to me, Janet, that it is only through the birthing of Capricorn can man ever concentrate. He said the aspect of concentration is the ultimate prize of Capricorn. And then he died.
He said what he had to say, and that was it. The end.
End of opera.
Exclamation point. All right, well, that's all I have for you this morning. Don't forget the sun is still conjunct Jupiter, so we also have largesse and magnanimity and new beginnings. Moon is at its crescent phase, which means we're approaching the first test to our intentions, should you have set intentions with the new moon, meaning it's a crisis of action, of activation. What am I going to do now? So in the grand scheme of the cycle of the moon, we're now being tasked with choosing direction and actually taking action. So have fun with that. Crisis, always fun. In the meantime, everybody have a great day. Thank you for joining us this morning. Hope to see you all on Tuesday during the Halloween test of our much longer course that will be offered later, and see you tonight on Living Astrology Radio.
Bye.
Bye, guys.